What's up guys, it's Punchy, and it's time to do some in-depth Deepwoken investigation. Just like everyone else, when I saw the Kanabo drop with its absolutely ridiculous damage, I only had one question to ask. Can we one-shot players using this weapon? Well, today, it's time to investigate and push our build to impossible limits to see what works and what does not. Is it possible to one-shot players with just a single attack? It's time to find out. For this test, I do want to explain how damage multipliers work in the world of Deepwoken and what I also didn't count in my experiment. As you continue to stack damage multipliers, the effect or boosted damage slowly but surely diminishes, granting you less and less bonus every single time. Basically, the more we have stacked on top will increase our output, but less every single time. Back in the day of old ancient Deepwoken, this wasn't the case and you could actually deal ridiculous damage pretty consistently, but the times have changed. And for this experiment rule set, I only have two constants that I have to respect. First, the actual attack we are dealing must be a single hit, so no bleed, no spine cutter, no umbral knight, it's gotta be the crit and the crit alone. Second, I will be testing on a 500 HP build flat because it is a decently high standard that's easy to see in today's PvP climate. Now, without further ado, let's start crafting to see if the one-shot Kanabo is truly achievable. As always, feel free to comment your own thoughts down below on how you could min-max your damage, and I tried everything in my power to make this crazy, but I did skip a few things, so check it out. First, we absolutely need maximum damage scaling with the Kanabo alone using 100 heavy and 100 strength. Our base damage should improve with these stats due to the weapon's dual scaling. Maxed out 6 proficiency will also increase our base weapon scaling as well as our base weapon pen, and this will also be very important. The actual Kanabo itself should be a 3-star damage variant, so we get 6% extra base output. Now, for the enchant on this weapon, the only thing that actually works without further prep is the heroism enchant. When reaching super low HP, we'll be abusing the damage multiplier for an extra push forward by about 20%. For our equipment, any boost that grants us base damage is good, so we'll be using at least the Dawnfist ring for weapon strength scaling and the Ishin's ring for a 20% damage boost. Armor penetration really shouldn't be an issue at all due to some high strength talents. Uncapping our pen with Million Ton Piercer and entering the Berserk state, this should allow us to bypass all resistance constantly, making our damage always true. Just as a side note, we won't be gaining any extra bonuses by passing 100% pen, so true damage is the best we're gonna get. Now, it's time to start cooking with all the fun stuff. Starting off with our damage multipliers, let's begin with Charm. It's absolutely necessary to use Charismatic Cast to place Charm on Mantra's hit, Tough Love to gain 10% damage applied to these charm targets, and Manipulator to deal 20% extra damage while removing charm on hit. It's very easy to do all of this with the Taunt Mantra, and that can also boost the damage taken further on our target by about 20%. Next, we use Overflowing Dam to gain bonus damage on our weapon by about 15% at full ether, but realistically, I don't really know if this works with crits. After this, we can go a bit crazy with the essential Insanity multipliers, so Lose Your Mind grants a maximum of 15% extra damage in all fields at max Insanity, and Piercing Will also buff our pen by 15%. Pen isn't very important in this test, but it's worth trying anyway. On to elemental bonuses, we're using Flame Within to gain a 5% damage bonus while igniting ourselves and benefiting further with Charge Return. Being under a status with this talent grants us 20% more damage on all weapon attacks, and that's really good. Next, we got the full lightning combo with Jumpstart to unlock static withdrawal, and finally Raging Static to shock ourselves for a 20% bonus on all attacks. Alongside this, we can try out Shade Devour to gain a max of 20% weapon damage after its activation. As an extra, we can get some bonus weapon damage with the Mushroom Omelet buff, which grants us 5% weapon multiplier under the status. At super low HP, we'll also be getting the Last Resort talent, granting us 10% extra. Moving forward, by debuffing our target with Ardor Scream, we can effectively gain a 25% damage bonus by debuffing them further. This can also add on top if our enemy is in hyper armor and we hit them for 20% extra using the Matador talent. And finally, we'll be using a reverse polarity potion boost to gain even more physical damage. I'm not sure by how much, but it does buff us substantially. Sadly, I don't really have any friends on right now to apply the Valve Mastery fight bonus, so we'll have to skip out on that for today. Now, with absolutely everything, we have a base armor pen of 100% by bypassing all armor, and a minimum damage multiplier bonus of an extra 265%. This, of course, is not counting internal unknown values that I really can't measure, but based on talent descriptions and what we do know, we should have a bonus 265% on top of our initial damage before the damage cap is applied. So, with everything stacking on top, we finally get to see the effect of all of our hard work. Let's see if the one-shot Kanabo is something real and achievable in-game. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kinda relieved to see this, but also sorta disappointed, but with everything, we can only reach a little over or above 50% of a 500 HP build, dealing around 250 damage. We did so much work to make this possible, but it seems like the one-shot Kanabo just isn't something that we can do in Deepwoken with this current setup. But with that being said, the two-shot Kanabo is very real, and actually, who allowed this because it does so much damage? To be honest, that goes to show how powerful this weapon is and how crazy the damage multiplier cap affects builds. Anyway, leave your thoughts down below on what you think we could have done, but regardless, I don't think there's any way to make this baseball crit actually one tap. As always, make sure to like and subscribe so we can hit 90k subs. We're super close and let's get there. Thanks again, it's punchin' time.